Welcome back to Business Over Borders. Again, I'm your host, Leo Tucker, and I'm joined by Matt Cannon here, CRO at Reach. Welcome back.
Glad to be back.
I think it's time to talk about tariffs. What do you say?
I've heard a little something in the news about tariffs.
Yeah, same. Let's talk about the landscape right now. There's been tariffs said they're going to come. They've gone away. They've come back. It's kind of chaotic right now. Let's give a snapshot of what's happening right now and what's coming.
I don't think there's any benefit giving you a snapshot. We've been trying to follow it and making some announcement, make some plans. How do you strategize? How do you adjust to it? And it changes. So I think it's beyond of like any update I give you now is going to be changed tomorrow. So I think, and this is what we're seeing, a lot of people have just, they're frozen and they're deciding before I invest, before I do anything, I'm waiting to actually see what happens.
Yeah, still see what the landscape looks like tomorrow.
But there's a lot of danger in doing that. So a lot of times the retailers that we're working with that have products that have been like manufactured within China, it's very clear that if you have products manufactured in China and you're going to sell into the U.S., there will something stick. Now, exactly what it is, if it stays over 100 and something % tariffs, what happens with the de minimis, how it gets through the border, your business model is going to change. If you are shipping into the U.S. from outside the U.S. into the U.S. and your product's manufactured in China, your business model is going to change.
It will be
affected. And you will have to find it. Not knowing exactly how much it will change and what to do, we've been working with a lot of our retailers of like, what are the best ways that you can set this up?
And what have we been seeing? What have the sort of proactive merchants been doing to position themselves for whatever's coming?
Well, a lot of our retailers have always had the plan, eventually, if they're not already doing it, to set up a local 3PL.
Okay. Third-party logistics.
Locally shipping in the U.S. so that basically they can import the products. They still are subject to the duty, but being subject to the duty on the wholesale value is something that you can probably pass on to the customer, or the retailer can eat it and still survive.
It's much smaller cost.
Much smaller cost. But the business model of importing the goods at the commercial value in the U.S., even if it stays at 100%, there's no way. But even if it goes down to 20% or something there, it'll still probably break most retailers' commercial value up, and it's going to really hurt it. So a lot of the retailers that are larger, that were already looking and planning on doing this, they're just expediting their plans to set that up.
Okay.
But it's a lot of work. It's a heavy investment to get that up and set up. But that's one option. The other option is looking at, which is also like you look at options, what's a viable solution regardless of what happens with the duties.
Right.
So a lot of other ones are looking at doing what that's called like direct injection. Which is one step below is setting up the local 3PL. So what a typical, like a lot of our retailers are doing in today's model right now is they have a warehouse, local warehouse, say in Australia, Japan, UK, and they have an order, then they ship every order individually.
Okay. Yeah, you buy something, it ships over.
You ship it individually, it goes directly to the customer, and it's imported at the commercial value. And in today's model, whether you have the $800 de minimis to the U.S., that works perfect. That's the most efficient, the best model.
Yeah, because right now, if the value of the product is under $800, it goes right through customs. No custom agent is taking it and making sure the duties are paid. It just goes right through.
Goes right through, and there's no duty actually applied.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't, your commercial value in that sense, when you import it, doesn't matter.
Right.
What they're now doing with direct injection is, say you do 100 orders a day to the U.S. and you're shipping them individually. What you do is you're going to combine all those 100 orders for that day, combine them into one commercial package, ship it into there with a direct injection provider, which will then usually have like some like facility that's not like that's like a cross dock facility, for example.
Okay.
That they come in, they bring it in, and then from that, at that cross dock facility, they're going to then take out the packages individually and then send them directly to the customer.
And it gets distributed from that point in country versus one at a time, a la carte over, across the pond.
And the only reason you'll do that is to basically get the value of the import at the wholesale rate.
Right. So if you're at a 125% tariff on something that costs $2, that's $4 and change versus the selling cost, the retail cost. That could be a $20 item, and all of a sudden you're at, 40 something dollars for the same product.
Right. Right.
10x. So interesting. Right. Okay.
So there are some private providers that we're looking at that. Now, in order to do that, you have to be able to, it's what you call a B2B to B2C.
Okay.
That's a lot of letters there.
Yeah, talk me through that a little bit.
So that means it has to be when you import it in at the wholesale rate or the fair market rate or the B2B rate, where there's a lot of different terms, but it basically means like what the actual goods, not the retail value, but the wholesale value. Mm-hmm. That you only can be able to do that within the customs if it's a B2B transaction.
Right.
So that you have to have sometimes who is the importer of record? Is it that direct injection provider? Is it a third-party customs broker? And a lot of times with Reach, we're looking to really help our retailers and become that importer of record, that B2B. So you import it at the lower value, but then you still sell it to the customer at the higher end.
Right. Right.
So you still pay duties, but it's at a much lower duty rate, which is something that you can it's low enough that you can either pass on to the customer or the retailer can possibly eat.
Yeah, take a lower profit margin on the item.
Lower profit margin, but you will still have a successful business to the U.S. because the companies that aren't doing that, the competition will go down a lot. And the ones that will doing this, a lot of times U.S. customers are aware. Like I live in the U.S., mm-hmm. Everyone's very aware that and very upset that costs are going to go up. And there's no solution. It's not like they can buy something lower. Like even the local retailers in the U.S. are getting hit. Like because even if they're coming in, they're still importing their goods. If you're selling clothing or toys or whatever, whether it doesn't matter where you're based, majority of it is manufactured in China.
Yeah.
And even if you're in Vietnam or other things, they're still going to get some type of tariff, some type of duty. So no matter what, costs are going up for everyone. But if you are selling $100 product, commercial value, into the U.S. and the tariffs are 125%, not one customer is going to buy it for $225.
No shot. But
if you're able to import it there is a possibility, depending on that they're going to pay 110, 115. Yeah. That's something that
it's a nominal markup.
It's a markup and it's things, but this is happening across the board so that you still can be competitive because people will still buy. So this is the way that we're looking at it. And this type of model, it is a change to it. But even if the tariffs go away or there's a 90-day extension, by doing this work, it's still in a very effective model. And it's a commercial model that a very advanced retailers have done. And just a lot of retailers haven't had the need to do it because they haven't had the scale. We're now making this investment, regardless of all the chaos, is still a pretty vital one that can actually be successful no matter what the outcome.
Yeah, so it's a viable move, not just because everything's chaotic and up in the air right now.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. And it doesn't, what you don't want to do, what I have some retailers that are looking at this is, I do think investing in the U.S. and setting up a 3PL and holding your inventory there is the best long-term solution, but that's a lot of investment and maybe some retailers just don't have that ability. And also, I mean, we could be in a recession right now in the U.S. This could be some of the stuff that could be irreversible. So then investing all of that stuff and going big into a market that could be low, that's also very scary. So
yeah, it's a risky
so
play,
looking at
capital in it.
And working someone with Reach or other third parties as being the importer of record and getting the solution, which it's not an additional cost. It's a way that can really optimize and be valuable.
Excellent. Yeah, well, it's good that retailers have options here. So, you're not stuck with 125% increase across the board. So thanks for coming on and sharing the options with us.
Absolutely.
Until next time. If you found this useful, we put a bunch more information down in the notes in the description, so feel free to go check them out. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, or click the bell if you want to see more of what we got coming. Thanks.
Brought to you by the Reach Network. Visit withreach.com/network for more.